Say have fun in your podcast. Say I love you.
Frank, speaking of how the rules are not applied equally, what do you think about the rules in terms of transgender athletes participating in
Don't do it.
athletics?
Don't do it.
Niggas, hey, before we roll in that, cause somebody get my nigga James.
Hold on, I got him.
That nigga look like the picture they put on niggas motion.
His box, man.
I got him. Hey, hold on, Joe. Why you gonna try me like that, bro?
What you gonna eat, bro? Me?
Damn.
He did.
I mean, you already seen you could get muted.
Oh, nigga, Roger can get muted. I don't know about me.
I just throw my motherfucking microphone down, nigga.
Apparently.
hey, for real though. Hey, before we get to the next topic though, yo, that had to been the U Man Award though, for real. That was the winner right there, dog.
Oh hell yeah.
That had to have been the winner, dog.
We got a late entry.
That shit ain't the late entry. That's just the winner, bro.
Hey, make sure you get the part where that nigga threw that damn mic down.
Dog, I wish I could get that shit on audio, but
Yeah, you get it audio.
If only we had a better producer.
you trying me right now, dog. Jesus, why is James not answering?
So everybody agree that Jaquez is the real king of RB, right?
What the?
No.
I'm joking. Stop.
Man, why you gonna mess with my genre like that?
You know you still got R. Kelly CDs, then get out of here.
So you do too.
No, we established that we have streams.
I have no R. Kelly CDs, nigga.
I have no R. Kelly CDs neither, or Drake. I already deleted those streams already too.
You don't like Drake?
What happened to Drake?
Drake's a pedophile. He a pedophile.
Yeah, he did. Damn. Shit.
Hold on. But you did admit. Hold on. But this nigga did admit that he has R. Kelly CDs though.
Yeah, I do.
Well, yeah. So, you're about to get dropped from this call. In 10 minutes. Are you there?
Hold on. So you listen to him?
Last time I listened to him was I think about a year and a half ago.
Backpedaling.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago. I want to say that.
So you okay with the rape?
Fuck no.
So then why are you giving money with the CDs?
I'm a streamer, man. I don't.
Oh, anyway, segueing to the next one. So, hey, I'm gonna have to split this one apart.
Joe did a beautiful job of segueing, though. Shout out.
Well, do it again, Joe.
Good luck. Hey, so next topic, we have transgendered athletes and how rules are being applied to them. Now, this one, the difference between that situation, this one, I think the rule that we talked about before, I think the rule was solid. This one, the rules are changing, and there's some ambiguity about whether or not these are good rules or bad rules. So, am I introducing or somebody else introducing it?
So wait, which one are we talking about? We're talking about the pro track star, or we're talking about the high schooler? Because you know, I know we can talk about both of them, but you know, one's an actual professional, the other one's still quote unquote student athlete.
I know the Semenya situation pretty well, so I'll go ahead and start with that one. Okay.
Go ahead.
So we started talking last week about a boxer. I think it was a transgender boxer, a woman who had, basically made a change over to being a man and was competing, and I guess it won the first ever fight of a woman. Well, my pronouns getting fucked up right now.
Right.
And I believe that dude on the right is the guy from the podcast I listen to. So
Okay, so we'll make sure we include this video on the show notes. So we'll listen to it here in a second.
It's tainted incredibly by not having Caster Semenya.
Oh
yes. In
yeah.
this
Okay.
field. This is, and I don't use this word lightly. This is a disgrace and a joke that she's not in here.
Yeah.
She was 8-0 this year in finals.
Yep.
Cementing 3 years in a row where she hasn't lost an 800-meter final. She put up the 4th, 6th, and 8th fastest mark all time in the 800 this year. Nobody dominated their event. Nobody had fewer questions.
Hey, hold up. Pause.
Who's going to win?
Yeah.
1 second. Hey, Joe, I need you to get on these podcasts or shows, my nigga. Because I don't need no room 3 white people sound like this. I need at least you here being knowledgeable and saying this shit.
Well, I tell you what, a lot of what I know, I listened to the dude who was talking. That's Jason Halpin. He runs.
No, I get it. Like shit that I like and fuck with. It's usually like a room full of white people talking about it, especially technology. But like, I'm always like, I wish I knew black people who fuck with this shit so I can listen to it. And I know you fuck with track, and I'm like, if Joe was on there, I'd be like, I would watch this. Anyway, my bad. That's all I want to say. My bad.
Hey, this show, this is what this show's about. We make sure we introduce new worlds. Anyway,
yeah, like the white dude in the middle could be Joe. Joe needs to be the white dude in the middle. There we go. I'm sorry. I'm out.
All right.
I mean that's just because you want color in there, but okay.
Because Joe's knowledgeable, nigga. Also,
I'm about to say I can't get it because I'm qualified for position.
No.
Damn.
No, you get it because you're black there, Joe.
fuck that. Joe be on. I don't even fuck with track heavy.
All right. Hey, let's get back to the video. Let's talk about Caster Semenya.
Shut up. Joe be posting shit on the Facebook, and I'm like, let me read this. I now know more about track. Anyway, here we go.
Okay, back to the
Caster
video.
Semenya in the women's 800 of track races. Beyond the 800, she was number 4 in the year in the 400. A lot of people forget about that. And she was also top 10 in the 1500. So 400, 800, 1500. Not taking anything away from the women on these lists. Obviously, they're very accomplished. But we're not idiots. The reason she's not on this list has nothing to do with the fact that there's 5 women better than her. It has everything to do with the fact that the IAAF still hasn't figured out the hyper-androgynous policy. And rather than give her credit for her season, which she competed in fairly, right? Yeah. There was no rule in place this year. They're being very punitive and very petty by keeping her off this list. And look, reasonable people, I think, can disagree on that policy, right? I've heard arguments whether or not they need to change the rule as it relates to regulating testosterone on both sides, and whether or not they don't. But the fact remains, she was eligible to compete this year. She ran those races, right? You can't say, oh, you ran these races, but they don't count because in the future, you may be not eligible to compete. Or in the future, the way your biochemistry is may not fit this. No, and that's 100% what this is about. I would have had more respect for this decision if they just said at the beginning of the year, you're not eligible for the award. Yeah. Because to put out a list with 5 women in it in 2018, we all watched the races. So to put out a list of 5 women in 2018 that doesn't include Caster Semenya is insulting our intelligence. And like I said, you can disagree or agree with what the Court of Arbitration of Sport is going to rule next year, but that's a next year thing. Yeah. That's not a this year thing. So to do it it's just laughable when I look at that list.
As I said before, not even 2 minutes ago, a minute ago, Joe Jeff should be on this podcast. That white woman and the other dude that Joe fuck with said something. That nigga in the middle said nothing.
No.
They ain't ready for me, Roger.
Hey, dog. Hey, because that whole time I was sitting there like, Joe Jeff should be over here because this nigga in the middle ain't said shit.
No.
Well, maybe we could have a track podcast be part of the Nicaraguan umbrella.
The women's finalists.
Just
it's
saying.
tainted.
Sorry.
Incredibly.
I don't know.
By not having Caster Semenya.
Hey,
Oh,
Frank.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
shut
did
that
not
out, Frank.
do
We
that.
know the only thing that your people know how to run this drug. So let's stop. Let's stop.
So anyway, with the Caster Semenya situation, that's something that's done on the international level. That's
Right.
something that we're seeing the law, the rules change, but we're also seeing at the high school level. So we looked at the situation in New Jersey. I believe it's Connecticut. Now you've got a young lady. I believe she's a junior, but I believe her situation is slightly different. I believe she was born a man, but is, I really can't even speak to it. I don't want to misrepresent. But basically, she has chosen to be considered a woman.
Okay.
And so what she is doing is that she's killing it in the 100-meter dash in Connecticut. She's running some very solid times from women. But the question is she truly a woman? You know what I'm saying? So she's finished as a freshman and sophomore, I believe, second in state, and maybe favored to win it this year. And so the question is if there's some, should she be allowed to compete with the women?
But she's transgender.
Yeah.
That's that old gray area again, where there's a sex change involved and everything, and will that be allowed? I mean, you know what I'm saying. Will that be the same? Same thing is now that you're representing female, or now that you look like a female, you should compete with the other females, although you were born male. That's that whole gray area thing going on. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, it talks about before in the chat group, man. It's a real, because it seems like no one wants to jump on, but it's a real tough stuff.
It's a tough subject to talk about, though.
Could you start talking about what we brought before, as far as rights, as far as across the board, if you're going to say in society that if you are allowed to say this is who I am, this is what I represent, this is what I want to be, how does that play further into as far like academics doesn't really matter.
Well, athletics, yeah.
Athletics, blah blah blah.
So
it's a tough.
Well, I mean,
is everybody else there? Everybody got quiet.
Yeah.
I'm here. I don't know about nobody else, but
I'm here. I'm just letting you speak because that's what we do in this.
Yeah, we've been screaming over each other the whole podcast. So.
Oh, everybody got quiet all of a sudden on this topic.
they don't want to talk about this.
Hey, Joe, you see that? Now we want to be civil.
Well, what happens is the power of the mute button.
We talking about race. You was all up on it, but now I don't want to talk about
Actually,
that.
Well, they're kicking up dust. This is what I think about it. Like, okay, the situation with the South African woman, I think that's just what it is. If that's a woman. Yeah, maybe she got a high level of testosterone than somebody else, but it hasn't been chemically done. And she wasn't born a man and is declaring herself a woman. She was born a woman. Genetically, she's a woman. So, I mean, what you gonna do?
Okay.
That's in that situation. Now, the other situation where you got somebody that was born a male and and decides, okay, now I'm going to be a female, and so be it. But when it comes to athletic situation, a male, someone that's born a male has a distinct advantage over a female when it comes to athletics. Well, anything that involves strength, speed,
definitely.
All that sort of thing, even agility and that sort of thing, a male is just going to always have an advantage over females. And to me, that seems unfair.
Yeah. So
now, on the other side of it, I feel like a female that's born a female and, and becomes a male And like now, usually what you got here is you got someone that's going to be taking like testosterone, some hormones, in order to, and it happens on the other side too. But a lot of times, in order for them to try to compete as a male, they're going to take hormones, which I think is another issue because now you got somebody who's chemically enhanced to compete. And is that fair? Even though they're probably going to still be in a disadvantage because they're born a female, they're still chemically enhanced, and that's supposed to be an issue in athletics. So I don't think there's any easy answers to any of them.
Was there a concrete example that we had talked about you want to expound upon on that?
With the female?
Yeah.
That was somebody that was born a female and became a male? Or what?
Yeah.
Oh, the boxer, I believe, that won the professional fight was born a female and took hormones to become a male, and they won their first professional fight or whatever. That was last week. So that's a situation I think is like it's not so black and white. Where okay, if he tried to compete as a female, even though he had declared himself a male, just they wouldn't have been able to compete. But because he took hormones, he is able to compete with other men. Is it still put him at an advantage, or does that testosterone raise his level above or normal male in his size and weight or whatever? That's what I mean. When you get the chemical enhancement, how far does that help them? And does it help them so much that it might actually give them an advantage? And then on the other side of it, I was talking about before with the born a male and competing with other females. The best example is the MMA fighter. I believe his name is Fallon Fox or something like that. Born a male, competing as a female, and just completely dominating to the point of seriously injuring other females in the MMA. In fact, I don't know if it was recent, but there was an incident where this he or she cracked another opponent's skull. And I'm interested in things that the other females are really afraid to compete against her, because there's such the strength, advantage over them and speed and everything else too, so it's like I think you got to think about fairness. I think you got to think about safety. I understand that people feel how they feel, and they if they feel like they're in the wrong skin, and I get that. But when it comes to competing, you got to look at it. You got to look at it more than just I'm declaring myself, this particular gender now, and so I have to be given carte blanche to compete. I don't think it's that simple.
All right. I kind of agree with you, man, as far as, athleticism with transgender, because especially going from male to female, is because bone structure is different, because we men tend to have heavier bone structures than women. Especially men tend to have more lean muscle too, and I'm speaking from a scientific point of view, whereas more so emotional, or how a person feels, what they should represent or whatever. So when transgender from male to female compete, they automatically have that unfair advantage of being stronger or faster, just by genetic makeup.
Right, and I think it's a good point you make about bone structure also, because a male is just going to have a sturdier constitution to be able to absorb, especially when you come to when talking about fighting, a male's going to be able to absorb more punishment, than a female will, so.
Right. There's going to be a lot of emails on this subject here. So,
I think we're being fair about it. I think we're.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Because not only no one said like all this he dicks with chicks type shit that you hear.
No.
I'm saying,
I'm not here to insult anybody or
no. That's
anybody. I'm looking at it from an objective standpoint.
No,
and I'm looking at it from a fair standpoint. That's what I'm trying to look at.
That's all I'm saying, though. No one's saying that, but I think that we talked about and it kind of relates what we talked about in the previous topic as far as the wrestling, where like people could like just simply go off on the racism end without digging deeper into it and like getting to the gray areas of it. Like when you talk about where just because all of a sudden a man now says I'm a woman, and they go have that proper gender assignment. What does that entail? What does that mean? It's specifically on a hormonal level, on a muscular level, on a bone, and vice versa. Like what I'm saying, we're not really, and we're in the early stages of it all, and we're going to see it all shape out. And of course, like people, we don't have those agendas. I hope none of my niggas have those agendas, but we see it all played out as far as like with homophobia and these people were going to the bathrooms to rape our little girls and whatever the fuck. We're not here for all that shit. We are specifically talking about the safety as far as like human beings in a sport being tasked to fight in a sport and what that entails if someone is facing an opponent who however many days, it won't be days, that's never, how many months or years ago decided to say or said I'm a woman and went under that surgery and hormonal therapy to become a woman. What does that really mean as far as the safety of a sport? And we're talking about that.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you another situation that came up, and this was in Texas. He was born a female, transformed over into a male, also taking like hormones and testosterone to get bigger and stronger. But because he was born a female, Texas will not allow him to compete in wrestling against males. So I think he just won like his second state championship, and he's just running through the female.
Yeah,
and he's actually asked.
He's been wanting to compete with the men, but they won't.
But they're saying because you were born a female and that's what's on your birth certificate, you cannot compete with the males.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. It gets tricky either way.
Wow.
Okay, so
yeah.
So I was like, before we go, I got another video. This is from the high schooler. There's a track star that's transgender. So let's see what this video's entail.
Okay.
Connecticut taking the top spots at the state girls championship, leaving parents wondering if they have an unfair advantage. Lindsay Davis is here, and you sat down with the track star to talk all about this.
That's right, Michael. We're talking about a subject that's so sensitive that Andrea and Terry, who you're about to meet, felt when it was time to tell their parents that they're transgender, they each revealed it by text, and now they have gone public with it, and they're facing opposition from people who say even though you may feel like a girl, you need to compete against the boys. Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood dominating the competition at the Girls Track and Field Championships in Connecticut earlier this month, coming in first and second place, respectively. And while it was a state race, their wins are making national headlines, not because of what they did, but because of who they are, two transgender girls. When was the first time that either of you found any kind of opposition to you participating on the girls' team?
I was expecting it, so every day I'll go home, search up Track and Field High School, Terry Miller.
Because you wanted to know what people were saying?
Yeah.
Some of those comments were harsh. Critics complaining that Andrea and Terry both have an unfair advantage since they were born boys. At what point do you decide, actually, it's more appropriate for me to be on the girls' team and competing with other girls?
I decided that the summer before 9th grade.
They've both started hormone therapy and say that for the most part they've been welcomed by friends, family, coaches, and administrators with open arms. But there is some backlash from parents and students. 2 petitions were even started in an attempt to change the current rule of the state's governing body of interscholastic sports. The rule states that students are entitled to participate on a team based on their gender identity, how they identify.
The girls athletes are at the physical disadvantage compared to the transgender female.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. The only reason I'm gonna stop it there is because, for the most part, you hear from the actual athlete themselves, and also the argument right now is on the physical aspect. I know you guys were talking about the anatomy of the male and the females and all that stuff, but
also hormonally on a hormonal level also.
Right, but you can't But the argument is on the physical level, at least right now.
A hormonal level affects the physical level, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They're both tied together.
Yeah, they are.
And the altering of hormone levels, because I know if you are taking testosterone and you play Major League Baseball, you're gonna get a 50-day suspension, and then if you get caught again, it's gonna be a year.
Yeah.
A lifetime.
They're all tied together, dog. The reason why, for the most part,
So then in this case, they were in the wrong.
Hold on, women appear to be. No, you're trying to separate physical from hormonal as they don't tie together, bro.
No. I'm not saying that. Hold on. I'm just saying that.
You made it pretend to be separate.
No, hold on. I'm just saying from what they're arguing. They're arguing the fact of a physical change. There's a different. I understand when you get past it and you explore it, then you start breaking it down a little bit further, obviously. But on the surface,
woman said though specifically was that a transgender woman would have a. So when she said that, I think she was trying to encompass all of that.
Okay, so then it goes back to our original conversation with the wrestler, and the rule is if you already undergoing hormonal changes, so shouldn't you know that that's not correct for you to be competing with the females, even though that's what your goal is. Your goal is to.
So
in this case, you're going from a male to a female, right?
Right.
So if you're going to a hormonal change and you're taking hormones to compete in this sport, shouldn't you be forthcoming with that information?
So Frank, that goes back to our previous conversation.
They are being forthcoming with the information, though.
The Texas kid is basically begged for the last 2 years to compete with the boys because they're going under their hormonal change, and they feel like they're winning state, but it's hollow. Because they feel like they're in a class that really
right because in that particular case the testosterone is making this guy who was a girl bigger and stronger.
Mm-hmm. Which brings me to the question:
okay, hold
you're
on.
not allowing this person to compete with the boys. This person is taking testosterone. Why is this? Woman, why is this woman allowed to compete? Or I get confused. I'm sorry, my pronouns are fucked up.
Right.
Why is this person allowed to compete with the girl? If this person is actively taking hormones to augment their physical capabilities,
right?
That's a good. But that's a good point. Then if you're doing that, if you are chemically enhancing yourself like that, your personal whatever. Physical traits, should you be allowed to compete in sport?
Well, okay, so before we got there, that's what I was trying to get to. It's they know that they're going to a transformational change. We get that, but because of that transformational change that you're doing, are you telling that governing body that's allowing you to compete in that sport that you want at the gender that you want? Because in that sport there is gender specific, right? Right. Not every sport. Not
in wrestling.
Well, no. In track. In this track. I'm talking about this high school track athlete.
Okay. Because wrestling, that's a little bit muddier. Because for instance, you said your wife did wrestling. Our coach at our high school is a woman who wrestled in Texas.
Yeah.
Missouri just went this year to having a women's division. Now, women girls and boys used to have to compete under one division
Right.
up until last year.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying with ADA. She wrestled under the in high school under the all male, female, whatever.
Oh, male. Yeah. It was a weight class. It wasn't a gender specific.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so like in Texas, I understand that this athlete, this wrestler, is trying to get wants to compete with the males or whatnot, right? Because of her gender, she has to because they probably have two divisions, a women's and a men's division. But the reality is, though, there are other tournaments that she can wrestle with the boys. You know what I'm saying? And when you go to outside tournaments, not that are sanctioned, but that are not affiliated with the governing body of the state or the governing body of the high school athletics, they can enter as a open, even as an adult, you can enter and try to. It's a weight class thing. It's not a female male base or why not. But I understand that Texas wrestler wants to get that Texas state title, because there's scholarship implementations. You know what I'm saying? There are because
there are.
You know, especially in high school, there are because
so I think what I see being the issue, like we're talking about the video we just watched with the Connecticut sprinters, and I didn't realize it was two of them in Connecticut. So I think what we're trying to balance is, you know, we say that people have rights to live their truths, to identify with whomever they want to identify with, but then at the same time, when we enjoy our rights, sometimes that might infringe upon other people's rights.
Well, not necessarily other people's rights. It's just
that's the argument that the woman made right when you cut off the video. So what I'm saying is, if I am a traditional girl, you know what I'm saying, somebody who has been readily identified, you know, universally as a young lady. And I'm going for the same scholarship that you're talking about. I want to be recognized. I've worked my tail off. I've utilized my body's, you know, hormone and structure and muscle tone that we talked about to the best of my capability. And I'm no better than third place in Connecticut. And so when I'm looking for scholarships, am I going to have the ability to get that scholarship because two people have outshone me? But it's questionable whether or not they should be even competing. You know what I'm saying? So me being a state champion versus being a third place in state, where's the balance there? Cassius Mejia is out here winning these 800 races.
So we were going back to the original argument is that there's a rule in place, right? There's rules in place.
Well, in the professional track, the rule changed.
Yeah. Well, okay, well let's talk about. Let's bring it back to the high school.
Hold on, real quick. And so I think you got a different situation. If you got a male that transes into a female and competes, if that male is not taking some type of estrogen, that gives them even more of an advantage.
Yeah.
You know, if these trans girls weren't taking estrogen, and they just said declared themselves females without any type of actual gender reassignment, you know, medically, they would win everything.
So here we go. Here we go. Here we go, James. I like that point that you just made, Joe. Okay, here we go. Scenario: you're a track coach, right? You got your female your female 400 runner, right? Sprinter or whatever the fuck they are. Excuse me, whatever they are. I didn't mean that was sexist. But you have your 400 runner, right? Or 800. I don't know what's the actual term. Your 800 runner. 400 runner. Okay. 400 runner. So you have your 400 runner. You have your best female athlete. Because it's gender specific, right? So you have your female, your women's 400 runner. Then you have the New Jersey team coming over here, or excuse me, Connecticut team coming over here competing in the Missouri State Finals, whatever, relays or whatever. And you have this transgender that is a male wants to be a female competing against your female 400, demolishes your 400 runner. What would you say? What would you even protest?
But hold on. I mean that's a trap question.
Well, because this is track. It's been track. It's track on track.
Track. I said track.
Oh, my bad.
To ask someone out of the make it sound like out of the blue, someone says I'm a female.
Right.
Right, but just to say, Joe, it was the women's 400 runner, right?
Right, but I'm saying that, but that's a trap question because no one can just come to Joe and say, "Hey, coach, I identify as female."
Right, no, but no, I'm saying that person ran against you, and then after the race, you found out that hey, it was a transgender male trying to be a female that ran against your women's 400 runner.
But like this is something I've been thinking about though. It's like,
well, hold on, let me get Joe's response.
I know, I'm saying, but going into that though,
he's still thinking.
But while Joe thinks about it, while you guys niggas have been talking about it, I've been thinking about.
You've been eating.
There's no passage of time given to when these people. God damn it, that sounds so bad. To when these.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's hard to say.
What's wrong with people? They're not people.
Yeah.
Because everything is loaded. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Everything is loaded. Like to us,
them people.
Fucked up right now,
Yeah, you're being problematic right now. You might get muted again.
I should be able to say these folks, these people. What I'm saying is, in these stories, passage of time isn't given because, especially when you're talking about hormonal therapy, that's very important. Passage of time.
So the passage of time plays a part into your judgment then?
Huh?
So depending on how long they've been doing this, it shifts your mindset, your ultimate decision.
Therapy requires
the stage,
passage of time. Yes, my nigga. As somebody who played football with niggas who took steroids, it does make a difference, nigga. I don't know if I'm gonna get limp dick nigga playing middle linebacker, or I'm gonna get the nigga gonna blow everything up linebacker.
Okay, so if you get a limp dick nigga, then what are you gonna say? Oh, it was cool. Even though they were cheating.
But he's still a male.
Cheating is cheating, right? You said that. Cheating is cheating, right? We've been on record that you said cheating is cheating. Whether you knew about it or you don't, cheating is cheating.
I know you want to yell.
No, but you said that. You've done that before.
Nigga, you let me finish or you gonna just yell in my ear?
No, I'm just saying though, you've done that in the past. Cheating is cheating, whether at the beginning or at the end.
You're gonna yell in my ear and let me answer the question.
Okay. So now according to Roger, depending on the level or the time of passage or the time that has passed, it'll dictate how he feels about it.
No, I'm saying it dictates the amount of hormones with this individual. That's how I was saying.
Oh, okay. So not the result.
Why you on your cocaine high horse, nigga? Okay,
but I asked Joe the question. You have your 400 your women's 400 sprinter.
All I was saying to what you were saying is none of these stories give a passage of time. All these stories that you have presented, Frank, none of them have given a passage of time as far as when the hormonal therapy started, which does matter. And even Joe, who you're about to ask a question to, even said, yes, it does matter. So go ahead, my nigga. Now the cocaine wore off on you. Because cocaine does take time to affect you, right? Your people should know.
Go ahead, your women's 400 meter.
I don't know about that, right?
Hold on. Your women's 400 meter, you enter her into this competition against another Connecticut women's 400 meter, and you find out after the race that this person was going through hormonal changes.
That's problematic, man.
No. This is at the end of their transformation.
Damn,
it doesn't matter.
I can't. Damn. I can't reflect.
No. This at the end. The race is done. They're already past.
Problematic. You gonna say no? Go ahead, man. Ask the question one more time.
You have your 400-meter women's 400-meter contestant, and then you have your entering against an opponent that's from Connecticut that happened to be doing this transgender transformation. We have no idea what level or stage she's in. That's our hormonal change, but she happened to wipe the shit out of your, like, dust out your 400-meter. But after the race, you find out that she's been going through this transgender change.
So for the third time, I'm gonna say this: it would be problematic. And so why would it be problematic?
Why would it be problematic? Go ahead.
Is because thank you. So
notice that you're not saying that it doesn't matter what stage they're in. Notice that you're hesitating on.
I ain't said shit, Frank, because you keep interrupting.
No, I'm just saying though.
I said nothing.
Like
I said nothing.
Notice how
and you keep jumping into places, man.
All right, I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
So I'm saying to you that it would be difficult to have to make a protest in a situation where you are questioning somebody's personal identity. At the same time, I'm going to want to stand up for my athlete and make sure that my athlete is protected as well.
Wait a minute, Joe. Are you saying there's no black and white answer to this?
I'm trying to say that there's a lot of gray area on this.
There's a lot of gray area, nigga.
A lot of gray area. Look,
So,
very intelligent people who study this thing a lot more closely than I do not have good answers.
So as a coach, you have two things you're weighing: questioning somebody's manhood or womanhood, for that, like for that term, versus protecting your
a very loaded question.
No. He said it. He said it. Protecting someone's womanhood, right? Versus protecting his players, his athlete. So which one is it?
But I won't speak for Joe. But I'm
we just fucking went ham on a wrestling coach and put it all on him.
Yeah, we did go ham on him.
Yeah, we went ham on a coach that put the decision that a coach should have made in the hands of a fucking child, bro.
But here we know the child's not gonna know. The coach is going to be like, yo, I'm just saying, this is a hypothetical, and this is horrible, probably, hypothetical. But I'm just saying, though, you just said that you had to weigh the options of your individual player, the individual athlete versus someone else's livelihood. You're the coach.
Right. But I think Joe was saying, like, protecting someone's womanhood as someone. My bad. Go ahead, Joe. You freezing up.
This whole line of question is problematic.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's like
it is. I'm not trying to be that. I'm really not.
Well, that's exactly what it sounds like. It really sounds like you're setting Joe up for failure.
I know Joe is very. That nigga's very. He's well, because like I'm just nigga like fuck you, nigga. Joe is much well versed to defend himself than I am defending Joe. No. What I'm saying is, it's like it's a line of questioning that's not equal to. It's like.
But I'm not trying to be that.
We talked about something that really happened where we can all see coaches or adults fail the child. So basically, adults in the system fail the child. We can all see that. And I think what Joe was saying is like protecting someone's womanhood as far as a person who is now saying, I am a woman. Joe is saying like, I don't want to go
but Joe has to go back and tell that athlete that lost and say like, yo, why didn't you protest? He was going to have to say, I had to protect somebody else's individuality.
Protest what?
No, in this instance, I'm saying that if Joe found out, hey, this person is a transgender going through that transformation, and then Joe now has to weigh a person's individuality.
All Joe would have to do is uphold the letter of the law, right?
But we didn't do that with the wrestling coach. We put it all on the wrestling coach to defend that kid at all costs.
Joe literally said the letter of the law is correct, but the law the way it was forced across as far as like Joe said the law is correct, the ref is correct enforcing the law, but the coaches, as far as the adults, failed the kid. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, Joe
that
would.
was everybody's point, actually.
But that's why I asked Joe. That's why I asked Joe. Are you gonna be? Is it once you find out that information? Are you? He said he had to weigh the women's hood individuality versus his athletes.
Frank, I think I know where you're going. So Frank, what I'm saying to you is that the parallel between the two situations is, I think the wrestling rule where we were talking about the hair. I think hair situation and the headgear was a very clear rule that left very little room for interpretation. Even though there's still some variance in how it was interpreted, it was still very clear in its delineation of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. But what I'm saying to you is, I do not feel the rules in this particular situation, and every scenario is unique. Because we're talking about Caster Semenya, who is somebody who has always identified as a girl, but people look at her and they wonder. And so, I'm not about to go out there and do no nut check. You know what I'm saying? Right. A complete violation. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a complete violation.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Don't do that. Now, if they want to take, if we're talking about them doing some sort of scientific analysis of hormonal levels, that's one thing. But that's done at an international level. They're not going to be able to do that at a high school level.
Well, no.
That girl's situation, hold up, that woman's situation is not the same as these high school girls' situation. Right. So we're conflating two things that are not the same. They have some commonalities, but I can't tell you that these young women that are competing in the high school track meet are not women in some regard. Because to be truthful, I don't know what a hermaphrodite might associate with, and how that's different from a transgender. I'm not knowledgeable enough, and like I said, I think there's enough variance in each situation that it would be difficult.
You're breaking up again.
Hard and fast on hypothetical situations. It would be hard. It would be difficult to go with a hard and fast conclusion on hypothetical situations without having all the information available. It's a hypothetical,
right? And again, I premise this with that that being it was a hypothetical one, but that's what I was trying to get at. It's just like it's not an easy answer. You know what I'm saying, when it's presented to you. You know what I mean? Well, like, just like if somebody was throw that to my face, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be an easy decision. Just like in the wrestling coach, we decided to throw it all on the on the coaches.
Yeah, it's completely different. The rule is clear. The rule is unclear over here.
I don't think the wrestling coach in this we're talking about as far as like transgender topic is equal across the board.
No, what I'm saying is, in the hypothetical, Joe was made aware of, hey, this is what's actually going on with this athlete that just destroyed your women's 400 runner.
Yeah, but it's not hypothetical as far as I mean, hypothetical.
No, I just presented that hypothetically.
I think that's what the problem is, because you're equating a real situation with a hypothetical.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say that's dangerous. That's what we get to a lot too. Is like on Facebook, social media, and all that shit, where something really has happened, and then like people try to present a hypothetical into it, and it's like everything gets murky and malign. And what happens is racists end up racist or sexist or what the fuck.
You know what this is coming down to? Something that Joe said earlier in earlier in the episode. People in the sport, he actually happened to look at read the comments of people in the sport. He started to notice that it wasn't an uncommon thing that happened in the sport.
No, but if you go back and look at if you look at our chats and our messenger, even I said that like, yeah, I get it and I got that, but this particular referee has a history, so that's going to say
so that's different.
No, it's not. It's not so much that it's different, but I like when I.
So that's what we decided to focus on more.
Well, no, but it's the same thing as far as like the comedy thing we talked about so many weeks ago, being racism and somebody saying something fucked up when it's somebody we like and fuck with, as opposed to when it's some baseball player who said the same shit and we don't fuck with, we don't care. So yes, it depends on how close it is to us and how much it relates to us, how much we're going to research it, and how much we give a fuck about it. Very important things that gets passed up in the social media age. Because a lot of times niggas just fucking read the headline and don't click on it. But something that, for the most part, we tend to do, which I love y'all for, is we tend to research, dig into it, and actually look at it. So Joe went and looked at things. I went out, I hit a nigga up who actually has wrestled and wrestles and coaches and teaches and got his opinion on it. And he said a lot of things close to what Joe said. But yeah, I was still like, I feel what you're saying, dog. And he was like, yeah, I agree. This shouldn't have happened. But for the most part, the referee was within the rule, but the rule is fucked up. Or if we want to say the procedure or the policy is fucked up, however we want to term it, it's all fucked up. At the end of the day, we all agree a kid got screwed over it.
Yeah.
So we all came to, we all took different paths to come to the same fucking agreement. But you can't say because this real thing happened, now let's speak hypothetically about a topic that we're still trying to come fully. We're still trying to understand.
Roger, you just said something. You just said something. The kid got fucked up in that situation with the race situation, and that I believe was completely preventable.
Yeah, it was.
In this situation,
it's not.
It's different.
I'm bad, Joe.
Because somebody is gonna get screwed in this situation one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah. Either you're gonna have a kid. These are all kids. Either you're gonna have a kid that is unable to compete in the place where they identify, and that's gonna be tragic because they can't live their truth.
Right.
Or you're going to have people who feel like they have no hope of competing at the highest level because of things that are beyond their physical capability.
And that's what I was getting at, Joe. We're like, this is a rarity, right? This is like, we don't understand how rare this is, what we have right here. Like 5 niggas, and yes, Frank, you a nigga. 5 niggas who come up here and who are like,
thank you.
I think we're pretty intelligent. And then like, if we don't know something, we try to search it out and find out facts. But even if we don't do it, we're pretty intelligent. We care about the human condition. We care about civil rights, human rights, whatever the fuck you want to claim it. We don't fuck with racism. We don't fuck with white people who shit upon black people. We don't fuck with black people who try to use racism to get ahead. Mm-hmm. And we all agree that this is something that's it's very new. It's very nuanced. And it's very gray. And what's happening is it's very dangerous. People are trying to apply the same black and white logic to this thing. Thank you, Frank. That's not going to work right now. And like you said, Joe, kids are going to get fucked over, and it's going to be very bad. It's going to be very bad, especially you as a person who coaches young folks. It's not going to be good because we know, especially for me. Speaking like in you know, and anybody who participated in any kind of high school, middle school athletics, how much that meant to us as far as our development, as far as self-confidence and all this other shit, dog. People don't understand how much athletics builds upon that character of a kid. And when you take that away from them, and not only that, do you say because you identify as this and that, and this and that, and that ain't real. So fuck you, fuck this. So you can't do this one thing that you love, dog. We getting into some dangerous shit. We getting into some real dangerous shit.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to be perfectly clear. Like, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I'm not trying to put anybody into any predicaments or anything like that. But I'm just
Nah, you was trying to back me into a corner.
no.
Man.
I'm pretty sure somebody had that question. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna start wrapping it up. I'm sorry, we're gonna wrap it up. But I want to play this one last sound bite.
Come on, dog. You can't
no,
play
real quick, real
Wrap
quick.
it up and play a clip.
No, nigga, stop.
African American people get mad if you say
like 5 hours, man.
All right.
No, you can't say we're gonna wrap it up with another clip.
Then let's wrap it up. Then
let's wrap it.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, man, real good talk, real good discussion, and then like. Once again, dog, I just wanted to say, I just said it, but I really fuck with y'all because, you see it out there on the streets, and of course we're supposed to believe that all brown men, black men, whatever, we're all super homophobic, and we don't give a fuck about the plight of people who not conform to one gender, whatever the fuck, blah 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 blah. So I appreciate y'all views, man. I really appreciate the time y'all gave for. So, anybody have anything else?
I think we still have a lot to go. As men, we have a lot more growth to go through. As far as I would say it's humans because I was human. We talk about next week. As humans, we have a lot more to go through too. Well, right. But right now, and where we're at, and in the stage that we're at, I think as men, we have to start to continue to grow with and be okay with the new whatever genders are or whatever they are. I don't know what the actual word is right now, but as men right now, currently, as how we stand,
I would think you'd be surprised by a bunch of 50-year-old white women talking about transgender folks.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised about how closed-minded they are. So you need, as I say, as humans.
Oh, don't talk to old white women. So
yeah. So on a personal level, it has taken me a while to adapt to the new. All of this stuff for me personally is all new. It's coming from the background that that I grew up in the South, in the deep South, that this was not acceptable. Basically, anything new or anything, not normal was not acceptable in the Deep South. And but it was there. It was there, but it was very, very shunned upon. And so, for me growing up, it's kind of, I'm a way different now. I have way different thinking now. But I have come a long way, but I still have a long way to go for me as accepting, transgender or, homosexuality or anything that is what they say is quote unquote normal. And I am using air quotes on this. So.
James?
Yeah. I just think that it's important that we all stand up for it. And I'm just speaking in general, like if you see something that is not fair, that is not right, if someone is being mistreated, you should speak up and say something and make your voice heard. And it does, and not just because they are part of your so-called group or they're somebody that or whatever. If we all stood up for people that maybe have a hard time standing up for themselves, maybe it's be a different world,
I agree.
And and setting aside, and I think we all being older, have gone through some growth. We weren't always like this. We didn't always have open minds. We weren't always about social justice, for all type thing. But it's something that you can get to, and it's part of personal growth. You're going to be a better person if you treat others well, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe.
We all look like Frank.
Yeah,
on this camera, you do.
Well, I got three things. One, I think we might have a late entry for the Great Debaters Award.
No more late entries. No more.
That means Frank got to come back and get signed for this episode.
Oh,
next
God.
episode. You know what I'm saying? I would like to say shout out to high school wrestling because by far we have never talked about high school wrestling, and it dominated the podcast.
Never.
Shout out.
High school wrestling coming up in the game. You know
Damn.
so, shout out to the young men and women who participate in that.
Colored, a podcast of color, to be exact. Talking about wrestling.
Yeah, right.
Real wrestling. Not that fake wrestling. Wrestling.
Right. Greco-Roman. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to that. And then I also want to say, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa. To all my brothers and sisters out there. What else? Happy Festivus for the rest of us.
That's right.
That's the best day.
That's the best day.
Feliz Navidad.
We had our airing of grievances.
Right. And feats of strength.
We talking about the feats of strength.
Right, it's true. We talking about all we need now is the metal pole.
There we go, man. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays also.
Same here.
So with me, I want to say that I still have a lot of growth to go through. As a man, as a male, I still find myself and catch myself as far as like not necessarily when I see somebody kissing the same sex or whatnot on that, but it's just myself catching, being derogatory towards, when I say the word gay or faggot or anything like that. I'm trying to eliminate those words from my vocabulary or switch them. And also, I'm not going to say that I'm fully there. I do want to believe, I do want to think that as myself as a progressive person, but at the same time, I know that I still have challenges. I still have things that I got to change. For me, it's just how I interpret things when I see something. You know what I mean? I don't want to immediately say faggot. I don't want to immediately say the word nigga or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So those are the things that I'm gonna try to work on going forward. Because to sit here and say that I'm fully progressive, I'm not. I can't. I'll be lying. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I'm gonna try to better myself going forward. Like everybody else, happy holidays. I'm just gonna say happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Feliz Navidad to my Latinos. Y prospero año. That's, Happy New Year's. That's really it for now.
All right.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
What?
Speak.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just for me. Motherfucker, what?
Hey, wrap it up here, man. Thanks, everybody.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I mean, what Stork, what do you have to say?
I love your mama's cookies. They're delicious.
My mom doesn't bake any cookies.
Okay.
That was bad. That was bad.
Man,
we almost gone an episode without mentioning duck boats, nigga. I felt like
Yeah.
that shit was right.
See, problematic ass.
We had to talk about Frank.
Hey, man.
Problematic ass.
Problematic. We're looking at as the problematic Negro of the show, man.
Wait, you haven't said anything.
Who?
You. I mean, like, what's your last before closing it out?
If you let me talk, nigga, can I? You like the white man at the bank. I know. I'm trying to finish up, but nigga won't let me talk. Like a white man at a bank. I'm trying to cash my check.
Everything is race. Everything is racism. The ism.
It's America, nigga, so it is. So, yeah, man. Hey, man. Hey, thank you, everybody. I love y'all, man. Thanks, my brother on here, man. All good. We're going to have the year-end wrap-up coming next week. Hope everybody listen to the show then. It's going to be all good. What we was talking about, as far as this show goes, man, it just points a light to the fact that we got to be careful, man, about what we deem as far as like what's right or wrong, what's legal and what's not legal, because you think, not too many years back, man, a black man, a black man, a white woman, black man, that shit was illegal. So be very careful about what we want to think as far as like legal, unlegal, right, blah, blah, blah. So happy holidays, all that good shit like that. For my atheist brothers out there, I will say, exactly. Yeah. Hey, and to my baby over there, ADA, she over there in ADA over there in Nigeria, having a good time. Love you, babe. All that good shit, man. Thank you, niggas, once again for getting on with us. And I am the KC Stork. We got Tim Mees up this motherfucker. We got the Brothers of Doom, the Twin Towers of Power in this motherfucker, Joe Jeff, Big James, and my brethren up into peak at 30 Pieces AG, kicking as always. We are the Nigga Rockin' Podcast, I-70 Connect, and please enjoy the
music.